Hey guys, we are back. We got our second podcast that we're working on today, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's something different. It's fresh. It gives you different perspectives, and it's not coming from one of those freaky people that are always doom and gloom at New England or putting everybody else down. We're just not like that. But we're going to give you an insight into everything and give you our opinions. And today we got a lot of stuff to cover. So are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's kind of finish up with the game that we saw yesterday. Obviously, we have a short week. We're going to be going to the New York Giants are coming to Foxboro today or on Thursday. So we have Washington that we kind of had a weird game against. It was like the first half we weren't there. The second half we were just on fire, and that kind of opened up my eyes to a couple of things. So let's kind of go over what we learned from that game. What did you learn from it?
It was weird. It's two different. We were talking about it the other day. It was first of all, I appreciate you coming over and sharing the game with me.
Absolutely.
It was weird because they look like two totally different teams, the Patriots. And I honestly don't think the Redskins were doing too much different on either side of the halftime. The only thing I thought the biggest thing that they changed was when they went hurry up, New England.
Yeah.
And Washington couldn't make adjustments to the speed of it, the tempo. But I wonder, we were talking about it a little bit before. I wonder if the hurry up was not as I don't know why they didn't go. I'm surprised they weren't more aggressive with the hurry up, but I wonder if that's just the offensive line still gelling, trying to figure out who they are, getting an identity, or was it the receiving core that's kind of feels like it's in a shambles, but with Julian and Gordon, they both had pretty decent games, especially the second half. I mean, and I don't know if you were surprised at the end of the game when you saw Brady's stat line. I didn't realize he put up 350. I mean, it felt like they were struggling the entire time, and he put up over roughly 350 yards. I mean, that was just one of those games where, and I think I uttered to you before halftime started. I was like, this is just weird. But then all of a sudden I felt better. Because usually, if you're legitimately tuned in with your team, you are. I can feel it. I can feel New England's like, oh crap, they might lose this game. And I never had that feeling. I'm like, when are they going to kick it up a notch? And that's pretty much what we were waiting for at halftime. So.
And they did it.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely did, and it was. If they play any team, like they did the second half, the whole game especially, it's going to be. I mean, the score. There was a very poor. That's a bad Redskins team. There's no doubt. But if there's any team, I don't care. I mean, we'll talk about the Chiefs here in a few minutes, but I don't care who's out there. They're going to have a hard time competing. If New England stays healthy and can play like they did the second half, I don't know if they can be beat. So,
I mean, I know that I was seeing a lot of hissy on the different groups and stuff about us giving up that 7 points to that Redskin run. But honestly, I think they were just kind of caught off guard a little bit by that. Because when I really saw that, one guy was there to stop them. And then by the time the other three kind of got over there, all they were really able to do was try to push him out of bounds because they were just still too far away to really get a good grab on him. And by that time, that guy was gone. So I think that's more of a fluke.
The Pats were that was a dumb play, and I guarantee New England paid for that. Some tackling drills this week, it's a short week going into Thursday, but I guarantee you, Coach talked about that lack of tackling, because Belichick's not a bump him out of. I mean, sure, if you're on the sideline and you have the opportunity to knock somebody out of bounds, why take the extra beating? But wrap them up. I know tackling's become more and more difficult in this league because you're afraid of getting a penalty because you bump your helmet into somebody else's, or as long as you're not Vontaze Burfict, these guys are just legitimately just trying to make tackles. And I don't think a lot of guys have intent to hurt anybody or lower their head. And I mean, because the odds are good you're going to get hurt too.
Right.
So I don't. But that was just bad tackling. That's what that was.
Now, I know we're going to be talking about some of the other things here that was going on in the game, but one of the things that I kind of got into an argument with over the past last night into today with some of these Patriots fans is that they say that we need more weapons for Brady. And their logic is if we have more people that can go down the field, he'll be able to throw it to them. They have to have a name, because if they don't have a name, then obviously they're not going to be good enough, you know. But I'm sitting there saying, you know, most of what I saw yesterday in the first half was the O-line. When that O-line didn't give up any gaps for our runners went nowhere. When Brady was catching the ball and instantaneously having to run and scramble to get the hell out of there, he was having to throw the ball away, or he got sacked. He got sacked 3 times. Even Buffalo didn't do that to us. And how are you supposed to throw the ball deep down the field to a guy like Antonio Brown if we had him, or Josh Gordon, or Edelman, if he's running and scrambling? I mean, I know Mahomes can do it, but Mahomes is a lot more athletic than Brady is, and he's a lot younger too. So I say the biggest problem that we have isn't necessarily our weapons on receiving core or running backs. It's that we have to have an O-line that protects Brady, gives him enough time to be able to throw the ball even 10 yards down the field and open up gaps for our running game. When we, at the beginning of last year, towards the end of last year, we had gaps like crazy. They were doing great, and those guys were going straight up the line and able to go 20 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards past, you know, upon the grab. So that's my opinion. What do you think about it?
Yes, I agree. I think the weaponry that Brady has right now is solid. We don't have a marquee name at tight end, but not a lot of teams do. I mean, you have the Chiefs have Travis Kelce, and there's some legitimate big play tight ends out there, but they're few and far between. Most teams have a second tier, third tier tight end. They're truly there just for run blocking. But I mean, even our tight ends second half looked pretty good yesterday. I mean, I think that was the second quarter when Izzo turned around and made that amazing adjustment to catch that ball Brady threw at him. So maybe there's some hope. Maybe that's why the coach didn't activate Watson today. Maybe he saw something in those two guys that he's pretty satisfied with. But I don't know. We got I want to see what Harry can do.
Yeah,
it is going to be interesting to see. He had a great preseason, and if he comes back at 100%, is able to integrate into the offense. I don't, maybe there was a rookie by the name of N'Keal Harry that could be just as good as, Josh Gordon. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever. I mean, Antonio Brown is a fluke when it comes to ability, but we weren't banking on him to come in at the beginning of the season, and it just kind of turned out there was an opportunity there, and get one good game out of him. But I think Patriots fans are greedy. We all have become a little comfortable with winning. And for them to say, well, I want a big name wide receiver out the shoot. I'd like Stephon Diggs to come over. I'd like A.J. Green to come over. But it's a good team. I mean, and truly, some of the numbers that you see already, like points against, the Patriots are giving up 6.8 points a game.
Yeah,
that's absurd. That's clearly not going to last. I mean, that average is going to go up. It's going to happen. I mean, we're going to run into some teams with some pretty decent offenses. Holy crap! If you keep any NFL team under 15 points, and you still have Tom Brady at quarterback, maybe he's not lighting them up. I was surprised by the numbers because they did kind of light up the scoreboard. But if he's got a little bit of time, and the offensive line is my biggest concern. We talked about that last week. So.
And I don't think they're bad. I just think that they need a little bit more practice or something. Maybe they're trying to get used to some of the newer schemes. I mean, there are some newer people in there. We did lose 2 people on it that were key players in there, and one of them might be coming back here soon. So, that's one of the biggest problems. I mean, our first game, they were awesome. The second game, they were awesome. Third game, not so much. So I think some of those injuries may have played a part of that. But I know Dante Sarnicki, he's going to do a good job with them. He always does. But and sometimes the Patriots, sometimes they play different things. They try different things at the first part of the season, and then when it really matters, the second part of that season, like Belichick always says, they come out and they're tough to beat.
Yeah, no doubt. So they're Sarnicki is by far the best offensive line coach in the league, in the game, maybe ever. Who knows? But I mean, you could see how the one year he took off, the Patriots offensive line fell off so bad that he came back, and the story was he missed the game. I don't blame him. If I was coaching, playing around that life, the professional football life, I'd miss it too. But maybe it was, hey, can you come back because we haven't figured this quite out yet, and we still need your abilities as a guru to make sure we're good to go. But and truly, like you're saying, with when it comes to Coach Sarnecchia, he's this team, those guys together, because you gotta work off each other. You gotta have just like we saw with the Brandon Bolden, Tom Brady flip his hand, hey, go deep, I'm gonna throw to you. That's all it was. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, we replayed it on purpose, and it's a matter of just the knowing your team, being so tuned in that you just know what each other's going to do. And you got to know, who knows? Some of these guys are brand new to the team still. They're trying to figure out the plays and the schemes. So,
Now, one person that kind of shocks me, and everybody, I mean, I can't deny the numbers. The numbers were there. But last year, Stephon Gilmore, every time I saw a play, I watched people run right by him. He was either far away and he had to run and catch up to the guys to stop him. And that was pretty much his first part of the season. The second part of the season, he really turned it on, and I saw him starting to do a little bit more. He didn't have to keep playing catch up with these guys. And like yesterday, that was kind of what I saw again, And I'm like, wow, what? It's like when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. But I don't know how he got the numbers last year. I'm sitting there every time I saw him. The guy was in his spot. He wouldn't tackle him, missed tackles, all kinds of weird stuff. But yet he ranked the best statistic wise against all cornerbacks in the league. I don't know how he did it, but I never saw it.
yeah, I was a little concerned yesterday watching him. It was I kept. Well, how many times did I say? Well, it's Gilmore. What the heck? This Gilmore again. What's going? I don't understand. But sometimes I truly, I don't ever doubt Coach, and sometimes I think they try things
Yeah.
against, respectfully to the Redskins, against inferior teams. I think there's like, let's try this time. And I don't, I'm not a defensive strategist. I don't know the ins and outs of how they do that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, they gave up one fluke play and 7 points. So whatever, and it worked. Whatever, and I know it's funny is after 5 weeks, you see there's plenty of opportunities where the teams have gotten either within field goal range or close to the red zone. Next thing you know is a huge sack or just a huge stop the run 5 yards in the backfield, and it's amazing what they're able to do so far. That defense is crazy good so far.
And one of the things that I have seen with this team is that we are 5-0. Very excited about that. But what really kind of bothers me, and I didn't think it was going to be like this, that we played only one team with a winning record. The rest of them haven't even won a game. And I hate that we have won based upon that type of situation, because I really thought Redskins were going to do better. They did great last year. They weren't superb, but they were great. They were good. And Pittsburgh Steelers completely shocked me. I was not expecting them to be 1-4 right now, and they barely beat the Bengals. So I'm kind of glad in many ways that we're 5-0. I mean, I really people are picking on us obviously because we're the reigning Super Bowl champions, and we beat 0-5, 1-4, and a 3-1. It's kind of weird.
They can't control the schedule.
Exactly. And
truly, when they played the Steelers, everybody was 0-0. So you didn't know what you were getting into. But think about the Steelers almost beat with a third string quarterback, almost beat the Ravens, who's everybody was so desperate to get Lamar Jackson into the conversation about the elite quarterbacks in the league. And it's been 5 games this season, and he threw 4 picks last week.
Yeah.
And they really could have lost to the Steelers, and I don't know. It's been a weird year so far. And to see, I mean, truly, Buffalo is a top tier team this year. There's no, at this point, they're fun to watch. I mean, the defense is lights out. There's another really good defense there, and there's not too many of those ever. So.
And honestly, I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that are lucky because their defense isn't that great, but their offense is lights out. And I mean, I saw Mahomes running from the corner yesterday almost getting sacked. He throws a sidearm pitch to a guy that just happened to have 2 toes in the end zone when he caught the ball, and it was like inches from the ground. I mean, that just doesn't happen with many teams. But, I don't, if they didn't have that offense, I don't know if they'd be as good as they are either.
No, Patrick Mahomes is by far, yeah, I'll say it. He's the best quarterback in the league. Young, strong, accurate, and aggressive. I mean, that's true. That's the difference. A lot of these guys are aggressive, make mistakes. Now he'll make some mistakes, but I think Indianapolis did a fantastic job of keeping him contained. I mean, we've seen everything with the Chiefs so far this year. You let receivers get behind you, he's going to throw the ball at the guy that's past your corner. And I saw that play you were describing yesterday. I was like, how did he do that? How does he get away from all that trouble and then just like a 3/4 sidearm throw? And first of all, he's making fantastic passes on a line, on a rope. He's very, very good. But like you said, the defense is not very good. They only scored 13 points last night. So Indianapolis's defense isn't that great. So I don't know. New England's not playing quality opponent so far, but we'll see what happens week 14. But that's a long ways to go. So,
but see, with the way that we're kind of going right now, we can kind of see who we're playing, what type of rankings they have, and this is a good time to try stuff out before we get into playing the Eagles, before we get into playing the Cowboys, before we get into playing the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs and stuff like that, where we're going to have our hands full. We don't want to experiment during those games. We want to go in there and be decisive pretty much up front. Otherwise, those teams can run away with it.
Well, this isn't on the agenda, but besides the Chiefs, out of that group, who's after adding one more game under the belt, who spooks you? Does anybody make you nervous?
In our that we're going to be playing against?
Yeah. Besides the Chiefs, clearly the Chiefs are going to be a challenge. It's going to be a hell of a game. Yeah. But the rest of that group, I'm not dismissive. I enjoy the next team up or onto the Giants, and that's it. That's all you should be focused on. But fans don't have to concentrate that hard. We can look past them and be okay. I don't know if you are nervous about any of those teams. I'd be interested in knowing.
I'm really not. I mean, I think the one I'm most nervous about, and that's just because we've had some bad juju with them, is the New York Giants. Even when they played bad, they've come out and beat us. And that one year that they were terrible, and we went into the Meadowlands there, MetLife Stadium, and it came down to a field goal, and it was a crazy field goal that we had to nail to win at the last second. So I never know what you're going to get with that team, and they've been kind of on fire last couple games, which is good. Good for them. But I think they probably scare me a little bit just because of our history. The 2 Super Bowls, the 2 regular seasons, and we always lose to them in the preseason. But after that, I think the one that would probably scare me the most would be the Eagles and the Ravens. Ravens like to hurt you, and that's what I'm afraid of. I think we're gonna with our health rise the last couple of years, I'm a little worried about them. They're a nasty football team, but the Eagles, we haven't really beaten them. We beat them in preseason, but we didn't beat them in the Super Bowl, and we didn't beat them in the regular season that we did playing that. I think the year before that. So, right now we're kind of like 0-2 against them, really. So that worries me a little bit. But I don't think we're going to lose that one. But it's one that I have my eye
on. And that's the team I was going to say too. The Giants think about what happened yesterday to them. The absolutely discombobulated franchise. The Vikings come rolling in. Adam Thielen's calling out Kirk Cousins, saying, "Hey, listen, you got to throw the ball. You got to throw the ball." Stephon Diggs is almost demanding a trade without saying anything. Rumors all week on Twitter about Stephon Diggs to the Patriots. And then I can't remember his name right now, but their awesome running back, the Vikings running back's like, well, don't forget, there's a running game up here too. So that offense is completely. They're just just being very selfish, and then they roll into New York or Jersey and beat the Giants hands down. I mean, it wasn't so a they're just disorganized. Vikings came in and beat the Giants by hands. I mean, it was not a it wasn't close. I should be trying to say. So.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And I just hope that we don't have that mental block about them. I mean, we've had trouble with them in the past, even when they sucked. So I just hope that we just get past that mental block. Now, the good part about it is that most of the people that played against those teams when we did lose aren't there anymore on our team. The only one that is Brady.
Yeah, except for the coaching staff and Brady, there's no there's no connection there. And Brady doesn't remember that kind of stuff. History doesn't intimidate him.
No. So speaking about Washington, we'll finish it up with Washington with this. Jay Gruden was fired today. We both kind of figured that was, it was gonna be inevitable. But what's really funny is his father, John Gruden, was fired after the Tuck Rule game in the divisional series against us when he was the Raiders coach. And now the day after they play us, his son gets fired from the Redskins. That's pretty weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Gruden's kind of setting himself up. I was watching, kind of following some pictures and stuff. I love Twitter. I think you've figured that out. And, man, don't get caught on picture or in a picture and be anywhere near a cell phone, because holy crap, so many pictures of him just being drunk and looks like he was on a sidewalk sitting down trying to hook up with some young girl. My God, this dude he was ready to be fired. I think he knew going in. He was done that week. No matter what, they were going to get beat. I mean, even if they finished as a close game, I think he was on his way out the door either way. Jay Gruden's never been a good coach. He was clearly, he's a quarterback guy, just like his brother. I mean, they're just not. I don't know. John Gruden, nice enough guy, and I wonder about his Oakland, 10-year deal for that. I mean, they're 3-2, the Raiders, but. Yeah, both Grudens have never impressed me, and truly, with all due respect to the Buccaneers in 2003, 2002. If they played anybody else in that Super Bowl, except for John Gruden's Raiders when John Gruden was the coach in Tampa, Bucs might not have a Super Bowl either. I mean, it's amazing. Imagine building an entire franchise, an entire skill team, and they end up with them the next year on a different team. How easy was it to with that Buccaneers defense, I should say, to pick them apart? And that was an ugly Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, it was. So let's talk about the 0-5 teams. Who's going to stay in the pit of misery? Who's going to get out of it? And who's the most dangerous one out there? Because they're going to have a breakout game. They're going to get tired of it, and they're going to come out and attack, and they should. And those teams are Miami, the Jets, and the Bengals. Who's going to stay down there? Who's going to be able to control it and get themselves out of this pit that they're in right now?
So you just want to keep it in the AFC?
Well, we got one. Well, I don't think there is one in the NFC anymore.
Yeah, the Redskins are 0-5.
Oh, that's right, the Redskins. Yes. So let's add them to it.
Who did they name a coach?
Not yet.
I mean, based on what I saw, let's look at their schedule real quick. Here you go. You're going to get an answer, because Sunday the Redskins play the Dolphins in Miami. So based on what I saw the first half, if the Redskins play anything like they did the first half, they could beat the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are trying to lose on purpose, and that's just my gut. Do the Jets change that much when Sam Darnold comes back? Are they that much better of a football team?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm looking at the points for against it. Any idea how many points the Dolphins have scored this year?
14.
26.
Wow.
They're averaging 5 points a game. The Jets aren't much better. They've only scored 39. So Bengals have scored. The Bengals are 0-5 with a quality quarterback, and they scored 80 points. So it confuses me why they've kind of started 0-5 like that too. But I would say, Claire, I think the Redskins will beat the Dolphins next week. Let's see what the Bengals have. Bengals have the Ravens, so they'll probably lose. I don't know. The Jets are just horrible. And they play the Cowboys next, and then they play the Patriots, then they play the Jaguars, and then they play the Dolphins. So maybe they'll get a win there. I don't know. There's some bad football teams too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'd say the Redskins are the first one to get a win.
I think so too. Do you think anyone's going to stay down there, or do you think they're all going to at least have one win?
I think out of all the teams that would go defeated, I think it'd be the Dolphins, because they have no sense of any kind of no identity at all right now. They're a mess, and they don't. Looking quickly at their schedule, their best chance would probably be against the Redskins right now, but I don't think they can. I don't see it at this point. Yeah, brother, I don't see. They get the Redskins this week. The Bills, they're not going to lose to the Bills. The Steelers will not at Pittsburgh. The Jets, who knows what happens there? That's the week after that. Then the Colts and then the Bills again, and then the Browns and the Eagles. They shouldn't win a game.
And then they come to New England to finish it off at Christmas in the cold. So not good.
Yeah, there's no. I think the Dolphins are going to have an undefeated season and a totally defeated season here soon. So.
Not two. Those are two things you don't want to have. One of them, the defeat is the undefeated season you do, but you don't want to basically wipe it out with a defeated season. They almost had a couple of them, a couple times. Like that one year they won one game. That was tough, and it came down to like week 15, I think, when they basically sat out their starters, so they were able to actually win that game. I don't know.
It's weird.
Now let's talk.
There's supposed to be so much parity, but I guess. You got to have some kind of talent in your front office to put together a decent team still. But the AFC East is a 5-0 team, 4-1, 0-4, 0-4.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. It is just the league. I mean, truly, your top two teams are in each division are quality football teams, and then man, the bottom, like the Chargers, the way they lost yesterday.
Yeah.
See the Broncos. I mean, I was surprised the Broncos were. They got off the schneid. They were 0-4 yesterday. Now they're 1-4. But I don't know. This is a weird season so far, which is cool because every season is a little bit bizarre. So.
And everybody talks about our division, and I always, out of all of our people in our division that we play against every year, the one that always scared me was the Bills, and I got laughed at more times than not. But every time we play the Bills, it is a nasty game. It comes down to pretty much just the end of the game in itself before we find out who wins it. And they play us hard. It's like it is their Super Bowl every single year. And I think out of all the teams that we have in our division, they have the most talent and always have. I don't like playing anybody in our division because they do know us and they can upset us. Look at that crazy miracle in Miami last year. Stuff like that can happen, but regardless, they know how to play us. They play us hard, and even if they suck, we go toe to toe with them more than anybody else in the league. And those are the ones that scare me the most.
But 95% of the time we win it, so
that's true.
Yeah.
But they do leave you biting your nails.
Yeah.
Losing some hair, something throughout the game.
No.
It's already gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, that's from those. That's from the early '90s. That's when that happened. So.
I do. Now let's talk about the Colts, man. I was so impressed with the Colts last night to go into Kansas City and beat them on a really tough team that I didn't think was going to happen. That literally was David beating Goliath in that particular game. And you know what? They did it with a former backup Patriot quarterback. Percent. I love it. And I think that really did a lot for his confidence too.
Yeah. All I saw first thing this morning was a bunch of excuses. I don't know what was the extent of Mahomes' injury. He rolled his ankle a little bit.
He did? I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, he did get hurt. He was hobbled a little bit, but man, they were just making excuses after excuses. I mean, Tom Brady was hobbled all game yesterday, and he had no. I mean, Mahomes still threw for 321 and had a touchdown, but clearly that was a defensive struggle, and I didn't know the Colts defense was that good, because I'm just looking at their points for. I messed that up, but Jacoby impresses me. I like that kid, and truly between the two of them, while Tom was suspended for those 4 games, I like Jimmy G. but he seemed kind of. I never really liked him. And I like Brissett better. He seemed like a more likable kid. And that's just me being me. But the Colts are literally they scored 113 points and they've given up 115. So they're pretty flat. But it was great to see. I'll admit I didn't watch the entire game. I fell asleep. I had to get up for work. Some of us don't have football life jobs, but I wish I did. But that was great to wake up to. I know that for a fact. I want to make sure the numbers weren't backwards, and so I didn't think they could. I didn't think that. I was hoping. I'm glad they did though. I was hoping that it would be kind of cool to see a undefeated against undefeated come week 14, but whatever. We got a full game lead for the number one seed at this point. I know it's way too early talking about that, but these early games count too.
They do. And I know what you're talking about with Garoppolo. I like Garoppolo. I mean, I wasn't like a super fan like everybody is, saying, oh, I can't believe we got rid of him. We're never going to be good with Tom's gone now. But you know what? I did watch him when he went out that one game. He destroyed Arizona. I mean, that was a great game that he played for us when Brady was down. But then he comes out and he gets hurt in the first quarter of the second game. He's out for almost the entire season. Then they traded him to the 49ers. He played a couple of games towards the end of that season. Then he got injured the following season with an ACL. So I mean, it's like he's always injured. When he's on the field, he's good, but to me, he just seems like he gets a little touch and he's injured. Yeah, Brissett was a lot better with that.
Well, he's a bigger kid. I mean, he's more, he's built a little more sturdy, I guess. But the league scares me this year. There's been a lot of injuries from some really big name players. I think we talked about it last time. Drew Brees going down, Teddy Bridgewater. That dude is gonna make some money next year if he keeps this up because they're undefeated since Drew Brees went down. So the question is, if they stay that way, when Drew Brees comes back, he's going to get his job back. But I'm saying, do you consider not if they're rolling and they're winning under, that's what happened when the hot hand stayed. Bledsoe came back healthy and Belichick stuck with the kid. And I mean, thankfully Drew was there for the Pittsburgh AFC Championship game. But what do you do in that situation? I mean, the AFC South. I'm sorry, the NFC South is, the Saints are 4-1 since Brees went down, and that's fantastic. And that division, the Saints, there's no reason they shouldn't. I mean, the Saints have a backup quarterback going, the Panthers have a backup quarterback going, and the best quarterback in that division that's healthy right now, Matt Ryan, has got a 1-4 team. So, it's weird. But it was great to see Jacoby win, and I hope he does. I hope he continues to do well because you can definitely root for him.
Now, I guess the last thing that we really have to cover is Benjamin Watson. They did not activate him before 4 o'clock today, and because of that, he got cut. So, what's your prediction? Why did they do that? I mean, I know we need some tight ends. Izzo's not doing bad. Lacoste isn't doing bad either. What do you think's going on?
I think Gronk's ready to come back.
Think so?
No. I wish. I really do. I wish it was. He's so young. I'm glad he retired when he did, honestly, because I mean he's such a cool story when it comes to how he handled his money. Yeah. I'm sure he hasn't spent, maybe he has now, but he hasn't spent a dime of his contract money since he got to the league. Probably just a little bit his first couple seasons, but once he started getting those advertisement deals, he left his contract alone. And I don't know what he's doing. Some kind of. Looks like he's got a gig with some CBD company. He just did a big thing in Buffalo. He's going to be in Tampa here, I think, next week. And he's going to be doing something at Tampa, Raymond James Stadium down there in reference to the company. So he's making plenty of money. I don't see why he would come back. The dude, I mean, he did get, and it's sad that I'm looking at it this way, but he got skinny after retired. He started looking like Michael Phelps lean. But then he started putting some size back on. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Is he planning on coming back? Because that'd be awesome. But I don't know. So they didn't sign him. They didn't activate Watson. That freed up $2 million in cap space. So I don't know. Are they going to make a trade for a wide receiver? Maybe they will. I mean, at this point, the offensive line is a concern, but I don't see them making a trade for an offensive lineman. I think they're going to do what they can with what they have. Belichick's always got something up his sleeve when it comes to the next man up. So who knows? Who knows what they got going on? I would love to see another set of hands coming in, but I think N'Keal Harry's going to be great um, as long as everybody's healthy. I mean, Dorsett going down with the hamstring. I don't know how severe that was.
They said it's not too bad.
Well, hopefully, I mean, he's got a short week, so he's probably not going to play Thursday, but it'll be interesting to see. But I think they were freeing up cap space for something. I'm sure there's some kind of move out there that I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking that they think that those two tight ends that we have right now are decent. They're doing a good enough job to stay on the thing. I don't know. I think that they're trying to trade somebody too, or bring somebody in. I don't know who that may be. I know everybody was sitting there wanting the guy from Minnesota, but he just basically said he's staying in Minnesota. Minnesota said they're not going to trade him, so I know that's not going to be the case. But you did bring up a pretty good point about there was somebody else that you had mentioned earlier about a possible trade.
Well, AJ Green should be available. I mean, the Bengals suck.
Yeah.
So what's the point of holding on to him? So
yeah, I think that's what's kind of going to happen. I mean, strange things happen. I've seen some really crazy stuff happen with this team, and they bring in people that completely surprise you. But one thing I've never worried about with this team, and I get in a lot of arguments with people. They're like, we got to have big names for this thing, because if we don't, we just can't win this thing. I'm like, have you really sat there and watched this team since, I don't know, 2001? We've done it with people that don't have big names, but they have a lot to prove. And they are everybody else's rejects in many ways. They come up here, they find a new life, they turn into a superstar, and then they get shipped to somewhere else and they don't perform as well anymore. So it's like Bill knows how to bring those people out and make them play their best. So I'm never really worried about anything that really comes down to trading or when we lose somebody, because we always find that person. I mean, look at all the people we lost in this offseason. I heard doom and gloom all the way across the board. There's no way we're going to win. We're 5-0, and right now it's looking like we're going to probably be in the AFC championship game again. I mean, that's still a long ways away, but it's a good possibility. And right now, because the Chiefs lost, technically, we are the number one seed in the AFC. So it would be coming through us anyway. So I don't know. I don't know who they're going to bring in, but I know that it doesn't necessarily have to be a big name to prove something and make it on this team.
Well, you're right. Now, I'm just scrolling through the internet here. USA Today just 4 hours ago put out a report. A trade for Stephon Diggs would make the Patriots offense bulletproof.
Yeah.
So why, after the conversation he had yesterday, why is still writing about it? Because who knows? The league is so weird about things. He would be lights out on that offense. But it's week 5 and they just had a big win, and maybe Minnesota thinks they have something going there, so maybe he's not available. So who else could there be? But all these articles I'm looking at here is Ben Watson surprised, disappointed, reportedly still wants to be in the NFL. So who knows? Maybe they sign him to a lesser deal at this point too. Patriots have been known to do that too, let people go and bring them back for half price. So
yeah. I mean, he is kind of at the end of his term. I mean, he's 39 years old. I don't know how much longer he can go, especially as a tight end. They take a lot of hits because they're big guys. And look what they did to Gronk. I mean, Gronk was almost impossible to get down. They went for his knees all the time. They hit him with a lot of, I say a lot of dirty hits to get him down. And I can see why. But, Watson was a good guy. I just don't know if he still has it. He may not be able to, he may not be playing up to their potential or what they were expecting him to play at. I don't know. But it would be nice to see somebody come in. Now, was Diggs the guy that caught the ball for the he caught the ball. Was he the guy that caught the ball and the Saints didn't tackle him and he went in for the touchdown and sent him to the Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game? Was that him?
I believe so.
Because that was a crazy catch, and that was just a crazy play. I mean, you want to talk about having a defeated attitude after a season. that would do it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you get blown out by something so stupid like that, your season's over. It's not like you didn't play good, or you made stupid mistakes, but that was that one stupid mistake that cost them their season. If I were the Saints, that would be hard to swallow and hard to come back from. But they did it the following week.
Yeah, Saints have some crazy luck in the playoffs, especially. It's weird.
Well, I guess that's all we got for today. It's a short week, so we'll probably be back next week to talk about the Giants and see what's going on there. But I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so the Giants are scary. They always are, just because they're Giants. I think the Eli Manning little curse there. Eli's done. Hopefully he doesn't end up in the game somehow. Not that I don't think. I've never been more confident about a defensive team than I am against this year so far. They look phenomenal. The Patriots have given up a whopping 34 points this year. That's by far leading the league, and they've also scored 155, which is looks like second to the Ravens. Sadly, the Ravens have scored 161 points.
That's because of the first game they almost put up 60 against the Dolphins.
That's right. So, I'm looking forward to a Thursday night game, and it looks like every game from here on out until the last three are either 8 o'clock or 4 o'clock the rest of the way. So I guess the DirecTV got to get some free money out of me, because I'm not paying to watch these games, basically. So I don't know. I think we should do our prediction. I didn't come. My prediction last week was 27-6. I was off by a little bit. I forget what was your prediction?
36-14. I was off a little bit too.
So
not by much.
Yeah, but I'm glad I didn't give up that second touchdown, because otherwise you would have been pretty close. So, you went first last time?
Yes.
All right. So, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm looking at these points for, points against. New England's going to get their points. Let me see. The Giants. They're going to give up. They're going to give up a lot of points. I'm going to say the same thing. No, I won't change it. Let's go 33-9 New England on a short week in New England. So
I was gonna say something similar to 9-33. There's a 3 in all the Patriots numbers, pretty much. That's just weird, but it's true. So I was gonna do something with a 3, and I was thinking probably either 36 or 33, and I was thinking maybe 12. I'll give them 4 field goals. So let me do 36-12.
All right. Well, it won't be that far off. Just
right.
A field goal on either side for both of us. So.
Yep. Well, I had fun. I hope you did too, and I can't wait to do it again and kind of go over what we saw on Thursday night.
Well, I'm gonna say something bizarre here,
okay.
But I'm gonna be rooting for Cleveland tonight against Jimmy G, because I don't like the fact that San Francisco's undefeated still. So we need to finish that off.
Yeah.
New England will be the only one with no losses at this point. So
I'm with you. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for today. We will be back again next week, talking more stuff, talking the league, and giving your opinions of what we think. So tune in next time. If you liked the show today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share, and comment below. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook at The AME Experience, also Twitter at The